Our last video about talking about the past is going to cover using used to and would. Used to and would are both used to talk about past tendency. Tendency means like routines, habits, and repeated actions. Use used to plus the base form of a verb to talk about states or habits that existed in the past but do not exist now. I used to live in Korea. When I lived there, I used to take the subway to work every day. Okay, notice that it's used to plus the base form of the verb. Used to live, used to take. I'm not using any past tense form. I'm not using any present tense form. It's just the base form of the verb. And I'm talking about a state, I used to live in Korea, or a habit, I used to take the subway. I did those things in the past, but I don't do them anymore. Of course, I don't live in Korea anymore. Would is similar, but we use would plus the base form of a verb only to talk about repeated actions, not states. Let's look at the same example. I used to live in Korea. When I lived there, I would take the subway to work every day. So I can't say I would live in Korea because that's talking about a state. It doesn't really work. But I can say I would take the subway. That's a repeated action, so I can use would and the base form to talk about those repeated actions. So these are about past tendency, not completed actions. Use the simple past to talk about completed actions in the past, not used to or would. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach over a decade ago. My close family members attended the ceremony. It would be strange, right, to say I used to graduate? That's not talking about a tendency. It's a completed action, so we use simple past. One note about used to is that it changes form with questions and negatives. For questions and negatives, we use used to plus the base form of a verb. Where did you used to go to school? I went to USC. Do I know you? Or, my sister didn't used to be so tall, but now she's over 6 feet. So the note here is that in speaking, used to and used to sound almost the same. But we need to remember these different forms when we're writing them down. Let's talk about time expressions with used to and would. Use time expressions and time clauses with used to and would to show context for the state or actions. In the past, I would drive a motorcycle to work. Now I take my car. As a high school student, I used to be in the school band. As a high school student, I would play in the school band. Notice the difference with my verbs here, right? The first one, I used to be, it's a state. The second one, I would play, is an action. So I would use would. Finally, with a time clause, when I was in college, I would meet my study group twice a week. So the time expressions and the time clauses help us to understand the context of when those past tendencies took place. That's it for used to and would. And that's it for our videos this week. So please come to class ready with questions, ready to do some work and talk about it. Watch these videos as many times as you like. I hope it's a useful tool. See you on Monday.